All right, welcome to another episode of the After Hours, where I get to sit down and chat with some of the guys that have been on the panel with me for the Royal City Summit. And in front of me now is Mitch Ross. Mitch Ross, welcome to the program.
Thank you. What's going on?
Not too much. So, Mitch, you're a grad of the University of Guelph. Where did you go to school for again?
I did commerce marketing.
So when you got into commerce marketing, was event planning something that you foresaw in your future?
It was not. It kind of just it started off as a hobby, and then we realized that we can make a business out of it. So throughout the years, it was kind of a snowball effect, and it kind of grew and grew and grew. But no, when I first went to school, marketing, I was just interested in advertising and more so commercials, things like that. But then realized that that event planning and promotions was the way to go for a bit.
So the beauty of this is I usually have questions during a panel like that, but I'm not able to ask you. But I know that if I get you in a one-on-one setting, I will. A lot of kids deal with this situation when they're in school and they realize it's not the thing they wanted to do, or if they're doing the right thing. So, while you're studying in commerce and you're doing this event planning, was there any concern that maybe I won't finish school, or should I be finishing school and should I be focusing on events? Did it go hand in hand for you?
That's the thing. It went hand in hand because what we were learning in school, we could utilize for the real world. I think when you combine the two, it's almost a perfect scenario because you learn stuff in the real world that you don't learn from school, and kind of tying the two together. Doing school projects on how to market a product or something, or how to market an event was one of these school projects that we had to do. That kind of came to us like no other, because that's what we kind of did day to day after school as well too. So it was really a blessing that what I learned in school I could utilize in real life too. So
at what point did you know that you had to start a company like Late Nites? Like that was something that you had to do moving forward?
Once we did an event or two, we wanted to build something that would stand us out from other people. So when someone saw the name Late Nites, they knew what the event was going to be. They knew they're going to have a good time. They knew it was going to be a late night because we'd be partying late into the night. So we just wanted to, something that would, put our name out there, that we could brand and expand. There's my marketing lesson for you from Guelph.
That's great. So everyone's getting free education here. Talk about branding and how important that is, because you want Late Nites to associate with a good time, right? When you want those to be hand in hand. And how important did you realize that that was something that you needed to make significant?
At first, we didn't take it into too much consideration. Then we realized that we're putting out all this marketing material and all these advertisements, and that adding our logo on there, having people talk about that was extremely important, because some events would sell themselves because of the artist. Other events would sell themselves because of the theme. But sometimes you just have weekly events, and having that name behind it, people can kind of, they've been to various events, so they know what to expect. So we kind of wanted to make sure to have that on everything and anything. We had hats, we had shirts. We'd have girls walking around with Late Night swag, sunglasses. So, the more the name was out there, the easier it was to put on events too, because people knew what they were getting.
Now, how important was it for you to experience things before giving out the experience? And what I mean by that is, you went out in Toronto, you saw how they did it, and then you brought that to Guelph. A lot of people think, what they've seen on television or YouTube, they can create that same experience. But how important was it? I know it sounds weird to me saying, how important was it for you to party before you actually started throwing parties? But, having that perspective of going into those parties and looking at different things and saying, I want to do this, I need to do this.
At first, when I first started going out or started partying, you never really look at that. You look at having a good time, talking to your friends. And then once you kind of realize what's going on around you and how you can incorporate that in your business, we'd go out just for market research. We'd go to all different types of events to see what they were doing, from as far as how they'd move the line, to IDing people, to wristbanding people, to how the servers would interact with clientele, how security would interact with clientele. And then as far as the environment goes, so what's the lighting like? Is it constant in your face all the time? Is it more of a mood lighting? Going out was half the battle, because you want to take pieces of little things and bring them to your own event. I think travel was a massive thing as well too, because the Europeans, they party a lot different than Canadians. The Americans, they party a lot different than Canadians. So you can kind of take piece by piece, and then you have free range on your own event of what you want to do. So having the creative mindset to incorporate that and encompass all those interactions and feelings, made for successful events.
It's an interesting conversation, the difference between partying in America and partying in Europe. Like, is that something that you foresee? Like, do you hear that that's a thing, or do you just have to wait to experience it to realize, like, this is how you got to handle these situations?
You got to experience it. There's only so much a story can do, but when you're in Berlin and you're at a tech festival, or they start their festivals at 2 a.m. and they go till 11 a.m., 12 a.m. So to experience that sort of vibe and that energy is a whole different ball game than going out in Canada at 10 p.m. and you're home at 2 a.m. They eat dinner at 10 p.m. So just seeing how they interact and how the people in the actual nightclubs interact with other people, it's almost a different world down there.
So selfishly, I bring people on here to tell me specific stories. Now, you've dealt with the likes of like Steve Aoki, Avicii, Zeds Dead, Pauly D, a lot of characters in there as well. I selfishly want one story that resonates and sticks out to you the most when talking about these talented people.
I'm going to give you two. Is that okay?
Oh, of course. I got time to fill.
Okay. So, Steve Aoki, since you mentioned him, he was probably our first, I would say, wild or crazy artist booking. Steve is kind of he's an entertainer as well as a DJ. But we had him to Guelph for one of the first big shows. And after the show, he wanted to after party. So one of our friends set up an after.
And this is not something you negotiated beforehand. We didn't talk about
No.
this.
He said, I had a great time tonight. What are you guys doing after? It's about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And we said, one of our friends is having an after party down the street. So he's like, I'm down, let's go. So he has an SUV, fill it up with people, pull up to the after party. He's in the after party, he's partying. And he's like, you know what? I feel like skateboarding. He's like, let's bring this party outside. So down Gordon, and you know how there's the big hill down Gordon?
Yeah.
He hops on his board. He has a board with him wherever he goes. He hops on his board and he starts ripping down Gordon. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like a car is going to hit him.
It's like
Something's
3,
going to
4
happen.
a.m., right?
It's 3, 4 a.m. Like, and there's always cops out too. I'm like, this can't be good for business. His agent's going to kill me. So he's ripping through, and he's doing like jumps and stuff like that. And everyone's out on the street having a good time. So it just shows that, he likes to entertain even when he's off the clock.
Right.
He wasn't paid to do that. He could have gone to bed and gone to his hotel room, but
Is this before or after he got obsessed with throwing cakes at people?
this would have been before.
Before, okay.
Yeah, so he added that on as, he kept needing new things.
Right.
The other one was we did a lot of, we called them the 401 tour. So we book an artist in Toronto, Guelph, Kitchener-Waterloo, London. We might even do Peterborough. So we traveled with Michael Woods, TJR. And when you get kind of two artists together, or even if you get an artist together for, a stretch of 4 or 5 days, you're in the car with them for a lot. So you kind of experience, what an artist is like off stage as well as on stage. So when they're on stage, they have to be the guy. They have to be the entertainer. Like Michael Woods drinks tequila like water. I've never seen an individual that could drink literally 20 shots.
And you've seen a lot of people drink.
I've seen a lot of people party
yes.
and drink, and he's just and his DJ set is flawless. The more he drinks, the better he is. So doing a 4 or 5 day trip with him, it's more like a 4 or 5 day bender. But you see that his energy is like no other because he's there for the fans. Some event might have 100 people or has 1,000 people, and he's still giving it all. So just to kind of experience kind of your ins and outs and, your day to day, he's interacting with his wife back home, but he's still giving it all for the fans, which is really cool to see.
That's amazing. That's exactly what I was looking for. So you have almost 10 plus years worth of experience in events. You're now out of the game. But in all of your time, and now you see the future of event planning, like where do you see it going? Obviously, COVID's kind of thrown a wrench in a lot of people's plans. But is there anything that people should be striving towards or looking forward to when it comes to events?
I think the creative hat has come back on a lot of people's heads. What I was blown away with is the virtual side of things now. I know, you can watch a DJ from the living room of your home, which you always could do, but no one really took it to the extent of incorporating, lights, production, a background. For the DJs to eat and to get paid, they normally would have to go to concerts and DJ for fans. Some of them are now charging $5, and they'll play a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour set, which you can watch in your home. And they're getting 10,000, 20,000 people viewing and tuning in. You do the math on that, that's a decent payday for a 2-hour set.
Yeah, you're the numbers guy, not me.
So, it's cool to see them doing that. And it's cool to see people wanting to still tune in and know new music and follow them. You go to the next step and add in virtual reality, add in Oculus. If I can sit at home and it's like I'm at a club, but I'm at my home, I'm drinking my own beer, I'm still having a good time. It's kind of a cool thing. We'll have, a couple of friends over and, we'll just put on a live set and, you're not actually there, but you're still kind of in the vibe and you're still, having a good time. So, the virtual world is I think going to come up pretty hard after COVID. I'm a people's person. I love the face-to-face. So I really want, COVID to go away and we get a vaccine, we go back to normal. But I think now you can kind of incorporate all these new ideas, which is really cool to see.
I think a prime example of that too is like you saw The Weeknd do his concert on Fortnite and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And initially I thought it was a weird idea and I understand it, but then you see how many kids are playing there. You start seeing the clips on Instagram and Facebook and you're like, oh, this is really cool. And that's where you see the wave and that the trend's going towards that way.
And the numbers that they're getting is, what was it, 100,000 people or something like that to see a virtual Fortnite concert of, Travis Scott or The Weeknd. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. So. Well, this has been really, I thought I got a lot out of that panel conversation, but I got exactly what I wanted here and I got more nuggets from you. So I really appreciate your time. If you could provide, you gave a great tidbit in there, but if you could provide another piece of advice to, maybe not so much event planners, but musicians and trying to take advantage of these online platforms.
I think one thing to take away is the people that you meet along your journey. It's very important to keep in touch. Do not burn bridges because you'll be amazed at, a phone call from somebody 10 years ago and how they can better your life or help you out, whether it be something small or big. But along the way and along the journey of a musician or anybody in the industry, you meet a ton of people. So always respect everybody that you meet because down the road, it's just great having kind of those friends and, they even almost turn into family members. So that's kind of one piece of advice is be real and always be nice to people.
That's great. Well, this has been such a joy, Mitch. I know I've known you for a while, but I've never been able to talk to you on sort of this level. So I really appreciate your time and all the advice that you provided here today.
It's been awesome. Thank you very much.
Another episode After Hours. This one is with Mitch Ross. Once again, thanks to Ammo Music for putting this together. This is a part of the Royal City Summit. And again, Mitch, thanks again.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Delta Guelph Hotel and Conference Center by Marriott, steps from the University of Guelph. With so much to explore, Marriott makes staying even more rewarding. From our Marriott Bonvoy loyalty program to mobile check-in and check-out, from grand entrances to the warmest of welcomes. It's easy to see why the Delta Guelph is the Royal City's place of occasion. Enjoy the local flavors and fan favorites brought to you by our creative chefs and inspired by Bar Mason Restaurant and Cafe. Over 148 well-appointed guest rooms featuring balcony and kitchenette options will have you wanting to linger a little longer. Collaborate and celebrate in our 13,000 square foot conference facility. 11 flexible event spaces with built-in audio-visual, high ceilings, natural light, and outdoor patios. Local, crafted, and social. We are Guelph. We invite you to explore Guelph in the heart of southwestern Ontario. Your welcome awaits.